Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. My name is Sienna, and this is Quantum Convergence, where shadows dissolve and the soul remembers. This is a space where the veil lifts, soul fragments return, and quantum convergence begins. Hi, friends. It's Sienna. And today, as I was meditating for the collective message today, I had a very distinct message come through about confusion and how many of us as a collective have been experiencing circumstances in our lives that is causing us to question certain things about the way that we are perceiving our reality. And I wanted to clarify that this isn't a, what's the right word? This isn't going to be negative. That this is more about learning why confusion comes into our existence and why it is often brought to our attention. And I think that it's important to understand that confusion is an insight. It causes us to look at things from a different perspective. And it also is asking us to look at our environment. It's like seeing a door that is locked, and it's time to open that door. It's time to find out what is on the other side. And that a door will appear to you when it's time for you to shift something. And the confusion is a way for you to have that specific thing that's in your life that is causing a disruption. And this is a chance for you to look at it from a different perspective and to see it as a positive rather than a negative. And what I received was a message about how confusion is actually it's a catalyst. It causes us to seek knowledge that will guide us to understanding what the illusion is in our experience that is being influenced and influencing our present moment. Now, there's an important distinction here um, about being ready and willing to explore the reason why the confusion is there, the core reason, and why you're experiencing it. And then also thinking about on the other side of that, why are you being asked to dissolve your perception of what the confusion has caused you to repeat in your reality? Now, we're looking at this from a quantum perspective. And this is to be able to see your present circumstance as the observer, not as the participant. And when you are able to pull yourself, your emotions, your programming out of it, the confusion becomes less cloudy. It teaches you how to manage and see the reason it came to the surface in the first place. Now, this is a way for certain things in your environment to be brought to your attention. And what the message also was talking about is how this is indicated within our bodies and the ways that our body feels when we are being pushed to acknowledge a reflection in our environment. And that reflection in our environment is asking us to look into our shadows and look into our subconscious to see what it is that is being brought to our attention, what that core seed program is that is being reflected to you in your reality, in your environment. When we look at things from this perspective, what we're able to do is we're able to connect the dots. We're able to put pieces together that we wouldn't have been able to put together before. So when you're getting an indication of something in your body, hi Luna, when you're getting an indication of something being off in your body, and that could be a raised heart rate, it could be um, elevated emotions, whether that's on the positive side or the negative side, or I don't want to say negative, let's call it the lower frequency energies or higher vibration, higher frequency energies. When those are being presented to us in our physical body, they're going to activate physical sensations within us that are going to indicate to us that something is off, something isn't aligned, something isn't the way it's supposed to be. And these are indications that there are things in your environment. There might be people in your environment who are triggering certain things that are connected to your core seed belief systems that were created in your environment when you were younger. And that's an indication that there is a pattern playing out from the subconscious side, from the place of not even realizing that it is actively being acted out in your life. And many of us don't see these perspectives within ourselves. We don't see these things within ourselves because they're hidden. And they're usually a part of our programming from our environment, meaning that there could have been certain perspectives or ways that we were taught to believe about ourselves, or taught to believe about certain experiences in our lives, or behaving a certain way, or communicating a certain way, or not communicating a certain way. These are the subconscious activations that are being brought to the surface and being reflected out to you through your environment. And when you experience confusion, that's your nervous system responding to your subconscious and what wants to be brought to the surface. Think of it as an opportunity to see beyond the veil, see beyond what you're actually seeing in your reality. Because this also gets into our perception of our reality and the ways in which we perceive our environments due to our programming. Now, the specific message here is that when you recognize confusion and you recognize it and you see it as an insight to creating awareness, it gives you the ability to bring that awareness to your forefront, into your reality. And by bringing that awareness into your reality and not just keeping it buried in the subconscious, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to then find the ways in which you can change your perception that was based on your belief systems in your childhood, or the belief systems that were created in trauma, or the belief systems that were created to, not believe that you were enough, that you were good enough, that you were lovable, that you were seen, that you were heard. All of those belief systems were an illusion to create in a reality that would keep you stuck. And we didn't think of our environments as being that way. But through society and the way that we were taught to conform to society and be held within this box, whether it was religion, whether it was politics, whether it was, family generational wealth or generational poverty, whatever the perception was, that is the perception that you have a tendency to carry with you. And what the universe wants me to share, what source wants me to share is as you learn to immerse yourself into the truth of what those generational perceptions were, you're going to be able to dissolve the connection, the confusion that is being created in your reality, the confusion that is being reflected to you is going to be alchemized. You're going to be alchemizing yourself out of the old perception and into understanding what it is that you need to see within yourself and release, or even just identify. When you first identify it, it gives you a sense of pause, and you get to see the truth of why certain patterns have happened throughout your life that felt like they were never going to stop, like they were going to continue, and it would just shift. Maybe the person would change, the job would change, the circumstance would change. Maybe you were sent back into old behaviors, back into old coping mechanisms, back into outdated and probably not so good for you habits. That is what you're alchemizing out of when you trust that the confusion is actually bringing you insight into the subconscious that has been blocking you this whole time. And I think that this is an important distinction for people to recognize, that discomfort, that confusion is an indication that something is out of balance, that something isn't right, that something isn't the way it's supposed to be, that there is an illusion that is happening, that there is a pattern that is happening, that there is a cycle that has been playing out generation after generation after generation. And many of us, if you are a part of this collective, I can almost 100% guarantee that you are a cycle breaker. You are a generational cycle breaker that is meant to bring this to the surface, that is meant to stop the cycle, that is meant to stop the pattern by your awareness, by your insight, by your recognition of what is happening in your reality, and understanding that what is being reflected out into your reality is based on what was happening in your environment when you were being programmed. If you can understand that and you can see it from a different perspective and not allow it to influence you or to harm you, and to recognize that it is all to learn the lesson, and it's also to stop the cycle. And that is where we are being called to stop the cycles, because time isn't linear. If you look at it from a quantum perspective, time isn't linear. So if you stop it, guess what? It stops behind you and in front of you in all directions. It no longer has anywhere to go because you have stopped it. So, woo, that was a intense message that came through for the collective, and I want to thank you if you listened to that for the last 15 minutes. I am grateful that you are here, and I am so excited to continue to build this community. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do. You'll be able to stay caught up on all of the content that I'm going to be adding soon. And you might want to check out some of my other videos. I think that if this one resonated with you, then you would probably enjoy some of the other ones as well. I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who has joined the channel, and I am so grateful for you all. We have been growing this space, and I know I missed a month, but I promise I'm going to be making that up to you with lots of new content and material. So, anywhere where you are in the world, have a beautiful day, morning, or evening. Until next time, goodbye.